13 and 17, and we are underway in the 2020 ACC tournament. You take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Discount Tire. Andis Toney wearing number 5 for Pitt. Look out for him, a very, very explosive scorer.
Yeah, explosive indeed. 27 versus Duke, 24 versus NC State. Capable of going off at any time, the lucky lefty.
Champagny from the corner will drop in a two-pointer. 6'6" freshman coming off a really fine season. To give you a look at the Wake Forest starting 5. And Childress running the point, averaging 15.5 points a game. He's been playing very well down the stretch. A little leaner in close by the freshman Neath in the opening minute of play here in Greensboro.
Jacoby Neath, he's a guy who's developing confidence, and that's been given to him from Coach Manning. Look, in the last 5 games, he's hit double figures in 4 of those, averaging 11 points and 4 assists. So a confident guy going against a rugged perimeter defense.
Neath has worked his way into the starting lineup here down the stretch. Lucius will sling it, and a hook shot up and in by maybe the most talented guy on the floor, Olivier Sarr.
Yeah, the argument to be made for most improved player in this conference, finished a close second to Garrison Brooks, but the skill set is dynamic, not your typical back to the basket guy, but what I've been most impressed with, decisive with the basketball.
And one of the ACC's least publicized really good players. Well, that's a tough shot in traffic by McGowan's. His first basket.
Oh, are the Pitt Panthers going to need him doing it on the bounce? A guy in the 7-game losing streak hasn't hit double figures. They're going to need him to be a confident performer this afternoon.
Well, their offense has been troublesome all season long. Lucius with an absolute bottom of the barrel 3.
It's big time. Wake Forest, when they can spread you out, share that thing. Most importantly, hit shots beyond the arc, opens up some driving lanes for their guards. Seeing the ball go in early is huge for the Demon Deacons. Remembering
with Wake Forest, and you watched the game as well, Jordan, they upset Duke in double overtime in one of the best games of the season in the ACC. Xavier Johnson shredding that defense for the lay-in.
Too easy, help side, where is it? Cruise control all the way to the goal.
I think Childress is fascinating, and Kelsey was, giving all the details of the incredible tournament his dad, who's right there on the sideline, had in the ACC tournament. But he's a senior now here down the stretch. He's playing very, very well. I thought he gave the most fascinating interview I saw in college basketball with Katie George all season long at the end of that Duke victory.
Yeah, and I think if you ask Brandon, he's probably not happy with the nothing but net crew. They all picked him to win. He likes having a chip on his shoulder. He wants people to not believe that's when he's at his most impressive.
Sean D. Brown getting airborne. He draws the foul. And a foul on Toney will be his first. I mean, the emotions just absolutely poured out of Brandon. He was 1 for 10 in that game against Duke. He wasn't hitting anything until the biggest shot of the night needed to be taken. That one goes off his leg. Hamilton quickly to get to it. A lot of contact, no whistle. He'll drop in the basket. Hamilton, a 6'9" graduate.
And that's an unforced error from Childress. Look, Hamilton is not a perimeter defender. That's just a giveaway and a touchdown going the other way. You must limit your turnovers, this Wake Forest team, to develop a rhythm. They turn it over 14 times per game, where Pitt forces 15, so they're going to be hungry to try and get some going the other way.
Neath on the attack, finds the open Lucius, and he'll drop in the three-pointer.
Like Lucius getting going early, that's the only excuse to not be establishing Sarr a little bit more early and often. Look, I don't know if Pitt has the intestinal fortitude to defend at the goal a talent like Sarr, but when you got that three-point shot going, you can get away from him just a little bit, but not too far.
On the drive, Johnson, tough angle and off the window. He has 4 in the early going.
Got to understand, these are guards that aren't going to do it beyond the arc. They're looking to pursue gaps. Got to stay home, protect the rim.
Neath takes a tumble there, clipped the heel, but he's back up again. Just getting started here in game 1 of the 2020 ACC tournament. And pass deflected by McGowan's out of play, and that's with 9 on the shot clock.
Trying to find Lucius one more time from that baseline as he started to feel the flow here in March.
Sarr with the touch, the 7-footer. Well, he's got a lot of skills in his game. Neath, and a rainbow shot that won't drop. And Champagnie with the rebound. Very good rebound of the 6'6" freshman. He hauls in 7 a game. Gowns had it batted right back to him. Champagnie with the save. Turning and firing Hamilton. It was in the cylinder and it kicked out. Pitt off to a hot start, though. They made 5 out of 6 to begin this game. Saar rolling inside and not going to stop that.
Fantastic decision. Patience from Neath at that point guard position, which is huge for a freshman in elimination basketball to get it to their mainstay.
Saar almost averaged a double-double. We talk about him being under-publicized. It's not because Wake Forest didn't publicize him. It's because they're 13 and 17, and he didn't get enough attention. Here's Tony. Yes, all net. Ardis Tony. His first basket comes in averaging 10 and 5. Tell you what, there are a lot of North Carolina fans. That is no shock. They are in their seats already for game 2 of this tournament, hoping for a magical run. Here's Childress off the front of the iron.
Wake's got to get back in transition. You can't allow Pitt in the open floor.
13-10. Pitt up by 3. ACC Network Basketball is brought to you by New York Life, helping people act on their love for 175 years. And by Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Finish in a season where people didn't expect nearly as much as he delivered. Coach Tony Bennett would have an argument, but I think across the board everyone agreed that Ham did just such a good job, very deserving of that award. Can't really argue with that list in general. A lot of exemplary performances and guys getting their due.
Leonard Hamilton and the Noles, the #1 seed. As they charge into this tournament, Childress fumbled it, and it was tipped out of play off Pitt and off the hands, the fingertips of Trey McGowan's. Pitt up by 3. Childress trying to get on track, the senior from Winston-Salem. Neath up top. Shot clock a factor now, down to 6. Mucius fouled on the play on the jump shot as he's hit by Champagnie.
And that's just a good decision for Mucius right there, just to basically escape slip of sorts, the ball screen, and find space as a jump shooter. And he's had some success early on there. So good decision thinking the game for Mucius.
At the line where he scuffles, only 50%. As a foul shooter. And that'll roll off. Coming up at 7, North Carolina against Virginia Tech right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app, so you can watch any time. And the North Carolina fans are slowly filling up this building in anticipation. They're healthy finally.
They're healthy finally, and people are expecting big things from a team that has almost gotten there and just hasn't been able to get it done. A very unusual season for Tar Heels fans, but expecting them to go on a run here, and why not?
As Jim Boeheim saw them at their best at the end of the season, and that's what he said. He wouldn't be shocked at all if they won 5 in a row. Champagnie lets fly, but can't hit. Wake Forest, of course, used to call this Coliseum home often. They played here a lot in the 70s and the 80s. Here's Brown from the corner. Saar right back up, off the window for 2.
It's big time. Good instincts from Saar. Gave a little nudge to the defensive rebounder to get a little bit of space to grab that thing and go back up.
Now, one of the Pitt losses this season came against Wake Forest in a close game in January, 69-65. That saw 10 lead changes and 11 ties. It's very early, but this one is beginning to play the same way, and a turnover. Now back to that stick back by Olivier Saar.
Savvy move from an upperclassman right there. Just a little nudge to Terrell Brown to get that space. Clean catch and finish. Interesting on the other side defensively. Demon Deacons going to that 2-3 zone. Pitt very used to seeing that kind of defensive show because they simply struggle to knock down shots beyond the arc. Got to maintain aggression driving.
Well, they run a nice play there for Shondy Brown, averaging 12.6 rebounds against his first bucket.
And the Demon Deacons doing all this work early on by not getting to the free throw line. That's where they get 24% of their production. Doing it with sharing it, great balance. Really like how Childress is managing this team offensively in a half-court setting.
You know, they make 75%, third best in the league. Way downtown, he's going to bury that shot. Trey McGowan's only makes 31% out there. Not necessarily a strong suit. Pitt doesn't shoot well, period, but that was a rainbow.
AOB, let me promise you this. Coach Manning will live with shots like that. Percentages not in the Panthers' favor against that zone.
Wow, look at the big fella put it to the deck and slam it down. Olivier Sarr. Well, we said it about 5 or 6 minutes ago. He might be the most talented player on this floor for this game.
He's got to remain assertive, demanding the basketball, understanding that there is no antidote defensively. He's got to demand that basketball, continue to produce, and let the Demon Deacons ride the wave.
Kick back out for Tony. Airmailed that one, and Wake has the rebound. Sarr once again setting up on the edge of the lane, but down the lane comes Mucius, and he will take the foul as well. A strong move to the cup.
Not ready to guard Mucius. Takes it all the way down the lane. I'm really impressed with what the Demon Deacons are doing in the half-court setting offensively. Mucius has remained aggressive. They have to respect the jumper. He's going to take it to the 10, play through the contact. We celebrated Brandon Childress, rightfully so. Sarr, usual performer, but Mucius averages 7 a game, and he's nearly at double figures just 8 minutes into the contest.
And at the line right here, trying to make it a three-point play. Had a fine game in a double overtime upset of Duke with 16 points and 6 rebounds. Kind of got on the back burner a little bit, the caliber of that performance, but he was huge in that game.
Big time. Wake Forest has done a good job taking care of the basketball, allowing them to maintain that rhythm. 5 assists on 8 field goals. Good movement. Talking about getting that ball to a second and third side, making that defense guard. Demon Deacons have achieved.
Johnson looking to penetrate and dish. That's a difficult shot, but he made it. Eric Hamilton on the baseline with a little dipsy-do, and he has 4. So both sides making their shots. That has not generally been the case all season long.
And that's huge. You don't typically see something like this in elimination basketball for 2 of the higher seeded teams that aren't offensively teams that get it done that way. Really impressed with how they've come out and performed on that side.
When Mucius really hunting that shot, huh? And he drops in the mid-range.
Pretty looking athlete at 6'8". He's got good length, comfortable putting it on the deck, good looking stroke. Percentages not where they want to be, but I think that's where you see the growth from sophomore to junior season.
Good rebounder as well. Johnson going airborne and drops in 2. 6 points for Xavier, the sophomore out of Woodbridge, Virginia. So a tight one here as we approach the 10-minute mark, the first half of the tournament. Shawnee Brown back to Childress, who's been a little quiet thus far offensively. The swing, Mucius again. Man, he's on fire.
It's inexcusable. You're in a 2-3 zone, this Pitt team. You have to have an alertness at all times of Mucius, and he's home alone. He's Macaulay Culkin on a baseline. It's unbelievable.
You know, he said something after he drained that 3 when he came to the other end, like, you got to make sure you get me the ball. He goes up for the block, so he's doing it on both ends. Sarr will kick it. Childress off balance, drains it anyway. A 3-pointer, and Wake opens up an 8-point lead.
Hold on, we're celebrating the big fella. That's a 7-footer, changing ends, running like a deer, catching it seamlessly and kicking it out to the baseline. The Demon Deacons are firing from all cylinders offensively. How about Sarr moving like that? Wow.
At 7 feet, swished in, a gentle touch there by Champagny. 5 points for him. He's only made 25% from 3, but this is getting to feel like a game where you throw all the stats out because of the way they're shooting it.
Yeah, and you can tell the Panthers don't have an answer defensively, remaining in that 2-3 zone. And you got to get Mucius a touch here.
He's up to set the screen. Shot clock down to 7. Childress trying to take it himself. Kicks it out. Here's Brown. Not there from distance. And a foul with 8:59 to go in the first half.
The three ball has been very kind to Wake Forest in the 2-3 zone in Hamilton. There's no awareness of the hot hand Mucius, makes them pay. And then how about defensively? Hasn't been much resistance when the Panthers get to the rim. That was the exception as Mucius gets that block. And let's go ahead and translate that defense into some early offense. Shandy Brown to the 7-footer Sarr, who finds the sure-handed Brandon Childress. Childress' family, this court's been very kind to that family over the years.
Pitt has made 71% of their shots. Wake Forest 65%. Traveling violation on Audie's Tony. That's their third turnover. Jeff Capel's second year with the Pitt Panthers, former Duke Blue Devil, signed a contract extension through 2027 earlier this season. The university administration really liking the direction that he is taking his basketball program. You like them a lot for next year.
I do like them a lot with everything that they're bringing back for this team. It's huge when you can get continuity and rhythm and the capable coaches that are on the sidelines for both programs. I have reason to believe that these teams are trending in the right direction.
Childress, long one coming, got it. He picks up 3 more, give him 6. We talked about how well he's been playing down the stretch of his senior year. He had 24 at North Carolina, 19 at NC State. And in the last few games, he's hitting 50% of his shots.
I also like how he's been sharing the basketball as a facilitator. 9 assists versus Carolina in that 24-point performance. So it's not only that he's hunting he's getting other guys involved.
Shot clock inside 10. Johnson kind of forced that shot. The save attempt on the baseline gets out to Murphy, and he'll drill the 2-pointer. And a really fine effort by Eric Hamilton, sailing into the photogs and the cheerleaders to save it.
And they're going to need Murphy to provide some of that offense. You know, he hasn't had the season he's wanted. The concussion knocked him off in a big way in terms of the confidence in his shot. Panthers are going to need that stroke to keep them in this one.
Mucius jumping in the paint, scoops it up there, and of course it's going to go down as he made the shot, and he'll be going to the line. He already has 17 in the first half.
This is incredible. A young man that averages 7 points per game. This is what March is all about. College basketball life is on the line for this season, and Mucius allows the clear gap to pursue, and the hot hand Mucius stays exactly that hot. 12 of their last 18 points for the Demon Deacons coming from Isaiah Mucius.
We talk about the game plan brought to you by Principal now, and in ACC tournament history, you're looking at those titles, winning in 95 and 96 a long time ago. They won them both right here in Greensboro. Pitt with the basketball, down 33-25.
Wake Forest staying in that zone. Champagny, a good option from 3, has now knocked down a few jump shots on both baselines. So that's a place where the Demon Deacons need to hone in, as he's one of the confident shooters going against this zone look.
He came over and said hello to you in the pregame drills. He certainly appears confident.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, OB. All freshman teams come out. Champagny, who's got good averages and has become one of the top performers at 12 and 7, left off the list. A lot of tough decisions to be made. That fuels a competitor.
Sarr with the tip in. He's already gotten to double figures. Olivier Sarr averaging 13.5 and 9 rebounds. That's a rare miss for either team. Both teams shooting up around 68% in this first half. Neat to Sarr. Sarr on the spin. It won't drop. The rebound tipped to Pitt.
It's okay. That's a high-level possession. When you've got Sarr 2 feet supplanted in the painted area, elevating the finish, you'll live with those kind of shot selections.
Champagny, he is going to take it. Can't drill that. It'll bounce out of play and back over to Wake Forest. Katie George was inside the Pitt huddle, or just outside it a moment ago. Katie?
Just outside. Jeff Capel, though, guys, continues to be upset with his team's defensive execution. He said, we won't win this game if we try to exchange baskets with them. We have to get stops. You notice they flipped into zone because they were having their way in the lane. Well, then Wake started knocking down some 3-pointers, so they flipped back to man. He's just trying anything and everything to get them going on the defensive end right now. And
Katie, that's, you know, the same sentiment I've been feeling watching is for a Pitt team that's just not very good offensively. They're 333rd of 358 teams from beyond the arc percentage-wise. They shoot 40% from the field. And this is not a team that wants to get into a back-and-forth trading baskets. They have to tighten up defensively. It's what carries the water for the Panthers.
Murphy jumping back, two-pointer, won't drop for him. And Pitt, this is their worst three-point shooting team in school history, so they get one the easier way. Champagny now at 10.
They're finding what they want at the rim. I mean, let's be clear, they're shooting a great percentage as well. They got to put together a string of stops.
Wake with the ball up by 5, coming up on 5 minutes. Sarr fighting for that, and he's hit on the play. Foul on Pittsburgh. Well, that penetration creating an opportunity here.
And this is what McGowan's does. It's what Johnson does. Sometimes it's better be lucky than good. Fights through a couple defenders' hands and ends up in the right place, right time. Champagny, another basket.
Ryan Murphy committing that foul. That was a pinball pass.
Yeah, I don't think you want to do that multiple times over. You'll live with it there, but the dribble penetration is key to the formula for success offensively.
Masood launches, but off the back of the iron. Brown goes for the save, gives it right back to Pitt, and a chance for McGowan to be on the attack. Champagny fouled by Masood with 4:59 to go. That's number 2. Now the Panthers have gone seriously cold over the last month, as you mentioned, dropping 7 in a row coming into the tournament. Their offense has been the #1 culprit all season long. They only make 40% of their shots, so they really have to play great defense.
When you don't have it offensively, the margin for error becomes that much slimmer, and you have to rely heavily on the defense. And if the offense is able to get you, there's no coming back.
That's a shot that Murphy missed. Now, granted, he's hitting 34% from 3. That's not great, but it was a lot higher than that before the concussion. And that just threw everything off for that young man. Neath going around the back and banks it in. Now Jacoby Neath off the window.
Neath's got that good body, a physical point that can hit you with the chest and create a little bit of space. Does just enough there to get it off the glass, as I'm sure he called.
Silently, if he did.
Yeah, we didn't hear it, but.
On the baseline, Champagny. Shot clock now at 7. Cross court for Murphy. Murphy slithers the pass to Hamilton, but he can't bury the shot. And a whistle with 3:59 left in the half. And we have a timeout. ACC tournament round 1. Danny Manning's Wake Forest hasn't touched that since, but 17 already tonight.
Yeah, and great balance for these Demon Deacons. As much as they've gotten a 3-point shot to go, 5 of those for 15 points. They've gotten 16 points in the paint as well. Taking care of the basketball, only 3 turnovers to 8 assists. You couldn't paint it any better for Coach Manning's squad.
Pitt trying to cut into a 7-point deficit. That'll fall in on a nice touch by Johnson. Xavier coming in averaging 12 points a game. It's all about taking care of the basketball for him. There have been a lot of turnovers this season, 100 turnovers. 37-32.
In the same vein, the Panthers having offensive success as well, shooting 57%.
Childress trapped near midcourt, got it free. Euseus. Shot clock down to 9.
Euseus got away with a walk there, OB.
And there's a travel in the end. Turn it over for the 4th time.
The basketball gods, they call that checks and balances here in Greensboro. Thought he traveled in a sequence before that and ultimately came back. But I like what the Panthers are doing here. Trying to get some momentum going their way, using their athleticism to generate those steals. And that's what's keyed them at times when they found success this season.
3 minutes to go in the first half of the tournament. Tony, quick move to the baseline. Euseus got to him defensively. Johnson with 4 on the shot clock. Not this time. Sean D. Brown up for the rebound. You talk about physiques now. Sean D. Brown is a guy you do not want to run into. Champagny will test him and lay it in. He continues to have a really nice half with 12 points.
Champagny does so much for this Panthers team. 6'6" freshman. The career that he's going to have there for these Panthers and Coach Capel, I'm really excited to see what he achieves. Good movement.
He drives and kicks, but it's stolen away. Maybe one pass too many. Champagny with a little leaner, 2 more. And a timeout. This is tightened up. 1-point game now. Jeff Capel's team cutting in big time down. Jeff Capel getting great play out of his freshman out of Brooklyn, Justin Champagnie.
He's a do-it-all guy, and I talked about playing with the chip on his shoulder, not making the all-freshman team. Here he gets into the passing lane, goes the other way. Those wide ball turnovers as what's allowed the Panthers to get back in this game. Demon Deacons not valuing the basketball. Back-to-back turnovers, and Pitt's on the doorstep, threatening.
Yeah, a little 6-0 run in the last 90 seconds. Defense spurring that. Childress to Neath. Yes, that's a two-pointer. 39-36 Wake Forest. Johnson, quick step on the baseline. Now loose basketball. Shot clock down to 10. And a foul with 1:32 remaining in the first half.
Good execution here, a driving kick. Childress, who's done such a good job distributing that basketball, makes the defender commit, gives enough space for Neath, who shoots 48% from three, towing that line only at 2. Good job creating.
Lucius just picked up his first personal. A little contact there, but no whistle. On a crossover and a traveling violation on McGowan's. Got pretty physical there and continues to after the whistle.
McGowan's kind of threw a little bit of a shot here after the whistle. Neath goes tough guy trying to take the basketball from him, and can't let emotions get in the way. Love that League Cell does not make a harsh call there and deliver any technical fouls, but can't let emotions get in the way here.
Wake with the ball, being pressed now, up by 3. And contact there between Childress and Johnson. And as Childress went to try and get the basketball, foul will go on Pitt and Eric Hamilton. And it's 1-and-1 time. So Childress to the line.
17 foul.
Brandon, a very good foul shooter, 81%. I wonder at what age Brandon was when he took his first foul shot in his household, knowing who his dad is.
Yeah, probably before he took his first few steps.
Probably, right? We'll be here all day and night. The Nothing But Net crew all day and night as well. Back with all the hardwood highlights, analysis, and post-game interviews right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. So Brandon with 8. 41-36 Wake. North Carolina fans continue to come to Greensboro Coliseum and fill up the building. Tar Heels on tap in game 2 against Virginia Tech. Rolling inside. Nice hesitation there. And a basket by Koulibaly, the 6'8 freshman. 6'8 freshman from Mali. And stolen away, and a foul. Assar prevented the run out with 50 seconds to go, but getting a little sloppy at the tail end of the half for the first time in the game.
Yeah, and Demon Deacons are allowing Pitt to creep into this thing and be right there on the tipping point of taking the lead because of these errant decisions with the basketball. And a lot of times it's been in the ball screen situation, trying to force something that's simply not there.
They forced 7 turnovers. McGowan's gave up the dribble. Coming up on a half minute before the break. Xavier Johnson thought about it. Champagnie slams, and it goes down anyway. It deflected off the iron, but somehow popped right back through.
A little bit of a smile there from Champagnie, but he's again done a good job. It's been like a morphing man zone show from the Demon Deacons. He's done a good job of kind of roaming that short corner along the baseline.
Really has, and he has 16 points. Childress firing up the shot, thought he had a foul. The tip won't go. And that will be the end of a very entertaining first half, where Wake Forest has a 1-point lead over the Pitt Panthers heading to the line. And Champagnie 7 out of 9. Lucius 6 out of 7, 17 points. Pitt Panthers 62% shooting in the first 20 minutes, and Wake 57% as we get the second half underway in a turnover, and that'll be their 8th.
I tell you, that is not how you want to start a half. when you got into a bad habit of turning the ball over in the first stanza.
Now the winner to take on NC State at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon here in Greensboro. McGowans won't shoot it.
Wake's going to stay in this matchup zone. Guard's got to be aggressive.
And popped up 2-3 times before Sarr comes away with it. Here's Childress on the attack. Heath, contact there and an offensive foul.
Offensive foul, whistling against number 4, Wake Forest.
Here comes the Hall of Famer Roy Williams, leading the North Carolina Tar Heels in what's really going to feel like a big-time home game.
Who are we going to get from Carolina? I mean, that's the question I think all the Carolina fans in this building and all of us that'll be tuned in for the next matchup are wondering. A lot of talent there and an ability to go on a run, but it starts with that first matchup and how they come out and make a statement.
Just how deep can they go? Hamilton in the paint, the one-hander, no.
That's what you're missing in terms of busting up this zone. A facilitator at that mid-post, something that Pitt traditionally has had in their successful years. Hamilton not quite that guy, so they're vulnerable there offensively.
Brown scoops it up there. That won't drop. Sarr with the rebound. Lost the handle on it. Brown with the return for 2.
9 offensive rebounds for the Demon Deacons and able to capitalize.
Now they want to run it out. Here comes Childress. Neath in traffic, swatted away, but a foul, no basket there. 18:29 to go in this one. Wake up by 3. Watch Brown coming out of nowhere here.
It's just, this is athleticism. You show me a better body on the floor than Sean D. Brown. I mean, he's out of the play. He's gone. Sarr does what he does, rebounds, and then he's back in the building, gone back like he left something for the putback.
Like he went to get his keys.
It's like when you get to the car, on my cell phone. I gotta get back. Those iPhones are expensive.
Well, the older you get, man, the more frequently that happens. Let me warn you right now. Believe me, you'll be battling that one.
I don't know. I'm with you a lot. You usually you do the check, the cell phone keys wallet thing. You're pretty good about that.
I check. That doesn't mean I carry.
Let me promise you, you never get back as quick as Brown just did there. I can assure you, I've never seen that, everybody.
Well, we talk about, physically how impressive he is, but he can do a lot of different things. Huge in the win against Duke. He had 24 points, 9 rebounds in that game.
And a junior. It becomes his team in a lot of ways with Childress leaving next season. So I talked about it, and I'm not just trying to prop up these 2 programs, but the future is bright for both the Demon Deacons and the Panthers.
Going for the reverse slam. There was McGowans. He couldn't get it. Champagny down the lane. He'll scoop it up and in. That's a pretty play.
Champagny is out here shining. At 6'6", he's got good touch. He's a rugged rebounder. Very comfortable putting that thing on a deck.
Sarr left 2 open underneath, and he stuffs it in.
You heard Coach Manning talk about it. Sarr needs to get a lot of touches here down the stretch.
Tony, yes, got it up there very quickly. He gets off his feet fast. That benefited him big time there. He has 5 points. 46-44. Sarr another touch, working on Hamilton, who fouls him. Champagny has had a terrific game 1.
Look at the length. I mean, it's 6'6". That is a cool customer with body control in midair, and I love the camera angle. Ooh, we're having fun here. Olivier Sarr, point blank range. The exclamation.
Oh, we got angles. We got some cameras, man. This is going to be a very well-covered tournament. That's going to be an offensive foul. 17:25 remaining. And the foul will go against Musius, his second. Crowd continues to file in. Obviously, you're going to see a whole lot of Carolina blue to support the Tar Heels. They got in early.
This is ACC basketball. That's what it's about. Work. He's got to work today.
McGowans. Not sure if that was a pass or a shot, but it winds up a basket. Nonetheless, Coulibaly, the 6'8" freshman, drops in 2. Sarr beats everybody to the other end, but Champagny blocked it away. He got down fast. McGowans around the back and dishes it right to Wake Forest. A frenetic pace.
Good decision.
White, no, the three-point specialist can't hit. And settling everything down now is Xavier Johnson, the sophomore point guard.
A lot of effort in that back and forth. Champagny with the denial. These teams want it. No lacking there.
Johnson has set it up, 9 to get off a shot. On the dribble, the shot is up, no good. Childress pushing the tempo. Pulls up and fires, drained it.
Brandon Childress.
He has 10. 2-point lead for Wake. It's come close to taking the lead a couple of times. There's Tony, kind of forced that shot, but it came free. And guess who laid it in? Champagny again in a foul.
Champagny is the best offensive rebounder on this team, and it's the instincts. He finds the space. 107 points in a 3-game span. And look, I've celebrated Brandon, the son of Randolph, all season long because he's had to live in a very large shadow. And a lot of people question if Brandon even belonged playing as an ACC guard. And all he did during his career leading up to now is keep his head down and work, steadily improve, never give in to the criticism that he's seen on social media or locally, and has turned into one of the better players in this conference, and an honorable mention all ACC guy.
He'll rattle in a three-pointer. That was on cue.
And synergizing with the color commentator beautifully here. You got to respect that as well from Brandon Childress.
Randolph, by the way, in the championship game against North Carolina, scored all 9 of Wake's overtime points. Got the game-winning jumper with 7 seconds to go. He was the tournament MVP in a legendary performance. Swung up top for Johnson. Shot clock down to 7. Pass for Tony. A dribble down, lays it in.
Beautiful job from Xavier Johnson just to have a couple dribbles in there to feel it out, then pursue that gap, then swing it over to Tony, who carved out some space. You can't play on your heels. You can't be tentative against the zone. You got to remain aggressive as if you're trying to beat the man in front of you off the bounce, but instead it's a space.
This could be a real tone setter for the ACC tournament. The caliber play has been so high. Let's go to Katie.
Guys, Justin Champagny grew up in Brooklyn, New York. He learned to play the game of basketball at a neighborhood park on a concrete court. He played against guys twice his age. He was knocked around. He said he learned the game and developed his shot through the game of pickup. He said Brooklyn is the reason he has that chip on his shoulder, Jordan, that you continue to mention.
Yeah, that New York pipeline has been really good to the Panthers over the years. Champagny, he played with the chip on his shoulder this afternoon. And what I mean by that is, I felt like he belonged on the all-freshman team. Now 5 worthy guys made it. But Champagny's put together an impressive season, and we always talk about bulletin board material for athletes. That's as good as it comes when people feel like you don't belong. Well, you're gonna go out there and make a statement, show people you do. And that's, as I said, a very worthy list. I don't know who you remove to put Champagny on there. I'll just tell you this. You could easily take one, put him on there, and we'd still be having the same conversation.
Very tough call there, yep.
He's a part of that class.
But they're looking at a possible elbow here. The foul was on Adis Tony for the Pitt Panthers, an offensive foul. Take a look.
Yeah, nothing to see there. Oh, there's the rip through. Yeah, that might be grounds for a flagrant 1 here. Let's see.
They caught Andrew White there.
Yeah, you can't rip through that space right there to create the advantage.
Another angle. As White came over with the double.
You can't rip across there. It'll be interesting to see what the call is here.
Lee Cassell, Tony Henderson, Jerry Heater. The officials here for game 1 of the 2020 ACC tournament in Greensboro, North Carolina. Game that has seen 6 ties and 7 lead changes. Very much like the first game when they met earlier this season. It was a 4-point win for Wake Forest.
Yeah, and you know, Wake Forest in a position here where they've allowed themselves for the Panthers to come back because they're not taking care of the basketball. You're now at 11 turnovers. At some point, you got to understand pacing of the game. Trying to force when it's simply not there. You got to settle in, reset, run some clock, and then try and find the right thing going. And too many times where the guards have made the wrong decision, and Pitt's been able to capitalize off of that.
Is this a flagrant for you?
I think it's going to be an offensive foul and probably leave it there It's because it was the end of her.
That's the call. So no flagrant. With the official explanation here.
Yeah, no flagrant one. There was no intent seen there for the officials to believe that it was worth that. So it wasn't too long of a delay there. We're going to get back to play.
And we're tied at 51. Pressure here from Pitt. And Childress to bring it up. He was honorable mention all ACC. And the senior gives it up. Into the lane, Brown. Got a good look, tipped out of play by the Panthers. Wake pulling off one of the great upsets in college basketball this season. They knocked off number 7 Duke at Winston-Salem in double overtime. They also almost upset the defending national champion Virginia. They fell by 2 in overtime, almost picked off the Cavaliers as well. Johnson swings the pass here for Champagnie. He's left wide open. And a rare miss for him, but tipped right back. Johnson down the lane. A scrap for the rebound, a tie-up on the play. Possession error will keep it on this end.
Tell you what, Coulibaly giving this team some good minutes down low. The reserve big fighting. Look, he's not a big scorer, 6'8" freshman, but coming out there, he's supposed to bang a little bit, create some second chance opportunities. And he's been doing that when he's gotten on the floor for the Panthers.
Abdul Karim Coulibaly, he was a key member of Mali's FIBA World Cup team that made a stunning run to the finals last summer, eventually losing to the United States. Trey McGowan's a sophomore back on for Jeff Capel. And Wake also goes to the bench. Jacoby Neath, the talented freshman, to replace Shawnee Brown.
I'll tell you, Shawnee Brown had 4 points in this contest. This is a team that really needs him to produce. 2-7 when he finishes with single digits. 2-6 when he's been out with injury. 9-4 when he hits double figures.
McGowan's on the cut, and it's Champagnie to strike again on the reverse. 22 points for the freshman. 23 points.
Good with the basketball, moves without the basketball. That's high IQ. Playing well with the other guys around you.
Tony with the pick and makes a tremendous save around the back to keep it in for Pitt. Now they try and cash in on a turnover. Champagnie the target every time down. Fights for the rebound against his own teammate. Coulibaly with a little fall away in close. That won't drop, but they'll get another try. He hits the deck. He did not travel.
Coulibaly's out there working, isn't he, OB?
A little bit. He's all over the place.
Yeah, would have liked to see him give it up on the first rebound. Maybe try to do too much.
Reach in foul by Childress. Foul number 2 as we take a look at that nifty backdoor cut.
It's a lost art. You know, the longer you play basketball, the less you get to play with the basketball. So you got to find a way to make yourself a factor. And moving without it is a lost art. You don't see it much, but the high IQ guys know how to do that. Champagnie, the exception. I really like that line. Got it from Coach Manning. The longer you play basketball, the less you play with the basketball.
Heard him mention that to you yesterday. You were in agreement, Champagnie. Yeah, rattles in a couple of more. He's had a great game here in round 1, and this is Pitt's biggest lead.
And that's the beauty of postseason basketball. You see the future. Look, can Pitt go on a run? Maybe. Crazier things have happened. But what you're seeing right now is the foundation that's been laid from Coach Capel, and the future's bright.
Busey is continuing to work hard. So far, he's been pretty quiet in the second half, but now at the tip-in, he has 19. Murphy off the fake. And McGowan's will set it up. Under 12 minutes to go in his first round contest. Murphy with a 3. He's just off. Hamilton went up high, but the rebound tipped away. Childress really pushing the tempo. Neath, no. The follow is good. Sarr there. He has 14.
And the 7-footer with a rim run. He doesn't get the touch, but places himself beautifully for the putback. Defense not running with him. Those are effort plays that produce.
He has 10 rebounds. Champagnie's 3. Big fight for the rebound, and Wake comes away with it.
Tough rebound from Lucius in traffic.
Tied at 55.
Got to get Sarr a touch. Got to get Sarr a touch.
He does get one. And Mucius will be flagged with that foul. We are tied at 55 apiece.
Austin Champagnie. Great players find a way to get to the basketball. Here, jumps inside the passing lane, translates defense into some offense. Sheer hustle right here to chase it down, take away an easy one. Carves out some real estate, loitering around that paint area, gets the putback. Talent finds a way to produce without the basketball. Champagnie has done it time and time again.
25 points. Mucius just picked up his 4th foul. He has 19. Champagnie 11 for 16 shooting it here in game 1.
2 efficient dudes this afternoon here in Greensboro.
But one of them in serious foul trouble. McGowan keeps on dribbling. That won't drop. 55-55. Wake trying to retake the lead. And a corner jumper swished in. On target, Sean D. Brown, the junior out of Orlando.
Good job from Childress, pushing pace.
Sean D. Brown is a double-double waiting to happen.
Yeah, and with that body, that frame, it allows him to rebound in traffic, finish at the rim as well.
Tony got a great look and did not miss it. 10 points for Audi's Tony. That's what he averages per game. Both teams continue to shoot the ball very, very successfully here today, which has not been their modus operandi. Here's White. Got it from 3.
It's their best three-point shooter. Got to find a way to get him looks. A team leading 55 threes. Make that 56.
McGowan's a lean-in jumper for 2. 1-point game.
A little bit of pressure here coming from the Panthers. Wake's been turnover prone at points. See if they can generate a few more easy ones.
Andrian White, as you mentioned, 38% from 3 as he brought it up. He was a 1,000-point scorer at Charlotte before transferring to Wake. Although lately a very cold shooter, maybe heating up in the tournament. Here's Brown with it. Stumbled a bit, no travel there. Shot clock down to 5. Johnson bodying up on Childress, and he commits the foul.
Shooters out here shooting this thing and shooting it with confidence. Early offense right there. Good advancement of the basketball via some airspace. Shawnee Brown gets it to go. Then how about the lucky lefty? The sophomore slasher. Tony gets one to go. Reminiscent of Julius Page from back in the day.
White working on Tony and too much contact. And a foul under 9 minutes to play in anybody's game here in round 1. Foul will go on Tony, his 3rd.
Little action to try and get Childress a look. Good defense there from Johnson.
He finds the 7-footer to bank into. So 16 for Sarr. Wake by 3. Pitt hanging right with them all afternoon and down to the early evening.
Beautiful execution there from the Demon Deacons in the secondary part of that set drawn up, allowing Sarr space down low to get an easy one.
6 to shoot, scooped up there, and a whistle. And a foul with 6 seconds on the shot clock. Some gentlemen getting ready for the next game. The Hokies, the 11 seed, to take on the 14 seed North Carolina. You almost hesitate to say that. 14 for North Carolina, but it's been that kind of year. A bizarre season for North Carolina, particularly with all the injuries. But as Jim Boeheim reminded everybody at the end of the regular season, look out for them because they are healthy and they're playing very well. They shot the lights out against Syracuse. First meeting, double overtime. And the Hokies winning is 79-77.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if I've ever been more excited to watch a 14 seed
Yeah.
my entire life. I mean, I
don't think you're alone. I really don't. He's stumbling, wanted a whistle. Tony to drive it, jumps into the paint. The tip won't fall. Childress has a chance to run out now. As Neath with him, lays it up. No, Neath with the follow and a whistle. A furious pace with 8 minutes to go.
That's tough. Pitt gets the turnover in the backcourt. You feel like you got one. Feel like Tony may have forced it. You love playing with that aggressive nature, but it's failure to capitalize off a mistake, then compound it going the other way.
McGowan's second foul to put Neath at the line. The freshman from Toronto only makes 58%. Shooting here and drops in the first one. Well, tomorrow the ACC tournament rolls on from Greensboro. Second round games. Packer and Durham will have you covered with previews of each matchup and a complete breakdown of the first round game. Wes has the call in game number 2. He has that North Carolina game. Packer and Durham, 7 a.m. Eastern, right here on the ACC network. Going to be a lane violation. So 8:02 to go. 2-point lead for Wake. They got Andrian White stepping in.
Yeah, those kind of mistakes can happen down the stretch, and there's been a lot of mistakes on both sides with decision making that it's allowed nobody to create a distinct advantage here.
Pass it to Coulibaly and can't hit it. Right there for the shot, but he misfired. 64-62 Wake.
Coulibaly could have gathered, taking that thing directly to the rim and finished.
He had time. Childress on a spin, got the shot up there, barely nicked the iron. Champagny, full head of steam, left it short. Sarr scrambling for the rebound as that came free and a whistle. 7:23 to go.
All four teams for different reasons, but how about Virginia with the push here to become the 2 seed? Did anybody see that coming about a month ago?
Mate, you probably should have, given who's running that program and the success of the Cavaliers. And who's going to bet against Duke and Coach K in a tournament?
Hey, look, there's 4 great coaches. There's great players on all 4 teams. I'm just glad that the respect is back on the reigning champion's name, because Virginia, that's not a good team. That's a great program. People must have forgotten that.
He's got it free. Sarr has it tipped away, though, and they turn it over.
Turnovers have crushed the Demon Deacons. Crushed them.
15 of them today.
Crushed them.
Johnson got it to Tony. Sarr came up to say hello. Tipped out off Wake. As we approach 7 minutes to go. Tied at 64. Let's bring in Katie.
Guys, in the last 5 minutes, both coaches have been stressing the importance of winning 50-50 balls. If this thing continues to go back and forth, both coaches feel like coming up with one 50-50 ball could be the difference maker in this game.
Oh, turnover there as McGowan's went to make the layup before he had secured it.
And definitely agree with echoing the sentiment of KG's report there. But it's also execution. I mean, plays like that, point-blank range, catch, compose, then finish.
Well, this game is tied for the 10th time. Neath inside for Sarr. Knows exactly what to do with that. As he continues to build on a big game 1 with 18 points. McGowan's gets it inside. Coulibaly trying to work on Sarr. Still working hard and got it.
Coulibaly has given the Panthers front lines quality minutes, even scoring it now.
We have seen some shot making here in the first round of this ACC tournament. Childress has it batted away. Tony gives it up for the slam. McGowan's skied up there for the dunk. And Tony injured on the other end of the floor. He is down, and an official timeout with 5:55 to go. I believe one of the officials ruled a personal foul, but a player was down. Tony is hobbling off.
Yeah, and it caught the ankle of Neath there. I hope he's able to continue to compete. And then you see the finish.
And they're going to get Xavier Johnson for his 3rd foul against the Pitt Panthers. That'll bring on a 1-and-1 with just under 6 minutes to go. They go to the monitor here. Now, there was a man down.
Yeah, and my focus went to Tony with the man down. I'm going to be honest with you, Obi. I didn't see what happened with Xavier Johnson that appeared to have occurred at half court, which they're going to go back to the monitors and look at.
A 68-66 lead for the Pitt Panthers, who have not led very often. They've been trailing for most of the day, but now up by 2 with 5:55 on the clock. And Tony being attended to, that ankle.
And they're going to tape him up, which means he's going to try and get back into this thing with the quickness.
Well, Childress headed for the line for a 1-and-1. So he will be shooting here, one of the better foul shooters in the game at 81%. In fact, Wake Forest as a team makes 75%. So should it come down to foul shooting, they have an edge against most teams in this tournament, but he misses on the first one. 2-point lead for Pitt. Johnson to penetrate. Murphy. Champagny, who's had a tremendous game with 25 points. Shot clock to 9. Way downtown, that won't hit. McGowan's off target.
31% 3-point shooter. That's an empty possession. That's not what you want. You need something getting your guards with their feet in the paint. You want to play downhill as many possessions as you can here in the last 5 minutes.
Childress out for Neath. Trying to get a little bit closer. They shut him down. And he turns it over. 17 turnovers.
Decision making from the perimeter from the Demon Deacons is failing them down the stretch.
And Pitt has only kicked it over 7 times. McGowan's going to jump inside, knocked away. Good defense by Andrian White. So 8 on the shot clock.
This is that bend don't break defense. McGowan's gets in there, and White does a good job staying alongside him, not giving up an angle or advantage.
Tony coming back on, so that ankle has recovered quickly. Musius is back on for Wake, playing with 4 personal fouls.
And he's still hobbled, so he's playing through pain. Much respect to the sophomore wing.
Shot clock a factor, down to 3. McGowan, he's got it. Trey McGowan's with 11 to make it 70-66.
Now see, that's a sequence where it's not failed defense. That's just a tough shot. Percentage is not in the favor of the sophomore guard, but he gets to go.
Tony, he's grimacing.
And look, it's a competition. If I'm Neath, I'm trying to break him down in isolation, expose him.
Sean D. Brown slamming on the brakes. Shot clock at 5. Childress has to get one up there. He drains it. That's a 2-pointer. And it stays very tight here with exactly 4 minutes to go. And Pitt by 2, 70-68. ACC Network Basketball is brought to you by New York Life, helping people act on their love for 175 years. And by Discount Top.
Because they believe, and there's great reason to believe when you've got Garrison Brooks, Cole Anthony, and the legend on the sidelines in Roy Williams.
Well, it is the jewel event for the Atlantic Coast Conference, and it's getting off in style the way these two teams have played.
And I'll tell you what, it feels like this one's going to be decided by the backcourts on both sides making winning plays.
Johnson swings it. Tony can't shoot it. Champagny will. Yes, a 3-pointer. Tremendous game continues for Justin Champagny, the freshman, with 28 points.
But OB, that's good movement. I mean, that ball was moving all over the place to create an advantage because you've got a defense that's shifty.
Sarr squaring up to the basket, goes in strong. He tips his own miss, fights for it again, and he can't get control.
That's got to be 2 hands. It's got to be 2 hands for the putback. Nobody's up there. That's rare air at 7 feet.
And a timeout, just over 3 minutes to go. Pitt with their biggest lead in this game.
Champagny.
Greensboro, where the showdown continues here in game 1. Wake Forest down by 5, and the Deacon players can feel the finality of this game. Sophomore Isaiah Musius yelling in that last huddle, do it for the seniors. Give everything right now for our seniors. In response, Brandon Childress then stood up and screamed, I'm not going home. I'm not ready to go home. Grab every rebound, get on the floor for every loose ball. So this Wake huddle was heated, but can they stay cool, calm, and collected and get this thing done? That's the question, guys.
Yeah, and KG, you pose a heck of a question. Can you remain composed, not to let emotion or anxiety get in the way, and continue to perform these final 3 minutes?
McGowan shovels that pass downstairs. Coulibaly off the fake. Man, has he made a difference today.
Coulibaly has given them fantastic minutes. And going back to building of the program, a 6'8" freshman.
He's come off the bench to score 10. This is no disrespect. He was rarely a factor in many games. Trying to contain Sarr. He'll commit the foul. 2:36 to go. And before that basket, both teams were shooting 51%, but turnovers the difference. Jeff Capel's team has turned over Wake Forest 17 times. Huge. To 7 for the Panthers.
And if Wake Forest isn't able to get it done, you're going to have to look back to those giveaways. But Coulibaly, shades of Ontario Lett, Chris Tabb, Chevy Troutman down low.
Friday night baseball for you. North Carolina number 11 Duke starting a big weekend rivalry series at Durham Bulls Athletic Park at 7. Game 2 and 3 will be noontime starts on the ACC network. 75-70 Pitt. 2.5 minutes to go here in round 1. The winner to take on NC State at 2:30 tomorrow. The Wolfpack has dreams of playing their way to the NCAA tournament.
That'll be a spotlighted game. NC State in the tournament as of now, but we're going to take care of as much business as possible.
Oh, Champagny again on a backdoor cut. Spectacular game for him with 30 points.
Wow. His movement without the basketball in that short corner. Coulibaly again.
Got the block and got it back. So under 2 minutes to go, and Pitt is starting to smell it. Here's McGowan. McGowan's on the drive against the 7-footer, and he scores it. And a timeout. 1:40 to go, and a huge basket. 79-70 Pittsburgh.
Stars in your roles. Champagny has been a flat-out star, period. Defense, Musius caught watching the dribbler. Simple back cut from Champagny. You reach, I teach. Look at him right there. Gotta follow your man. Caught watching. Don't watch me, watch TV. Then McGowan, as I talked about backcourt, making winning plays would be the difference down the stretch. Pursues a gap, skies that thing off the glass. Teammates in unison.
Justin Champagny, the freshman from Brooklyn, New York, with 30 points. Pitt does not have a long-time ACC tournament record, but that's a record. 30 points for him, 13 out of 19.
Incredible performance.
And a lot of backdoor cuts that he has cashed in. They've run that play many times today. Pitt, by the way, 5 players in double figures.
Hey, those New York performers for the Panthers. Somewhere Carl Krauser is smiling with what Champagny's out here doing on this floor.
He's had some really nice games. He was very strong on the glass against Syracuse. He had 17 rebounds, had 11 in a game against Miami. But he came into this game really scuffling shooting the ball in the 7-game losing skid. Remember, Pitt has lost 7 straight coming into the tournament.
Oh, B, I promise you, you can't tell me that he wasn't motivated by not being on that all-freshman team.
I think you're exactly right.
And you can't tell me that Coach Capel, who played with an edge and a chip when he played at Duke, wasn't relaying that message. Oh, they don't think you belong. And he's gone out there and showed that this afternoon. He's been the difference.
He has had a tremendous game 1. Justin Champagny came in averaging 12 points a game, 30 in this one. As Childress makes the pair, he's kind of quietly snuck up on a 17-point game.
You got to apply more pressure. You got to try and turn him over. The clock is not your friend. It's a 3-possession game.
Murphy back out to McGowan's as they run some clock. Johnson. McGowan's taking it strong to the paint. No. Still life here for Wake. With over a minute to play. The long one from the wing, and that'll miss badly. 79-72. That's a shot they desperately needed with a minute to go. And that one fumbled out of play off the fingertips of Xavier Johnson. So the Panthers with a rare turnover.
And you don't need a home run here. You can still get it too. You just want to apply game pressure. It's an unforced error from Johnson, costly right there. You don't need to get 3. You just want to get a basket, apply a little bit more pressure, and see if the Panthers will let you creep back in.
Childress thinking about shooting a 3. Time starting to run down. He fires that one up, can't hit it.
I just would have dumped it down low to Sarr. Let your all-conference guy make a play.
42.8 to go. And a foul number 4 on Olivier Sarr. So for Danny Manning, final seconds here. A loss here for the Demon Deacons would be their 18th defeat of the season. So what does that mean for Danny Manning?
Hey, look, you know how fan bases are. They want to call for a new coach and go a new direction. And look, it hasn't been a lot of great times as of late for Wake Forest, but I don't think this is the time to give up on Coach Manning. I'm just going to be honest. Not with what you have coming back. Yes, Brandon Childress is gone, but all these other key pieces. Look at what Musius has done. That's a sophomore. Jacoby Neath becomes a sophomore point guard. Olivier Sarr, if he comes back, there's reason to believe that this team can be a factor in the conference next season. So I would hate to see them give up on Coach Manning right now. That's my personal belief.
Just fouled out, by the way. That was number 5, does so with 19 points. Most of those in the first half. He had 17 before the break. And fouls out here in the first round game against the Pitt Panthers. 79-72 Pittsburgh. So he was tremendous in the first half, much quieter in the second. Wake Forest simply turning the ball over far too many times today. Season high 18. And Pitt's defense responsible for a ton of those.
And that's what Pitt's defense does, OB. You nailed it right there on the head. They're going to try and turn you over with playing 5 athletes on the floor. They're going to get in passing lanes. They're going to apply pressure. They're going to make it uncomfortable for you to operate.
Pitt with 11 steals for Coach Capel today. He's got to be delighted with that. McGowan's will go to the line. Pretty good foul shooter. He makes 73%. And this will be 2 shots for Trey McGowan's, sophomore from Pendleton, South Carolina. Hey, Thursday night, women's lacrosse right here on the ACC network and the ESPN app. Number 4 Syracuse in Charlottesville taking on number 17 Virginia. The Orange lead the all-time series 12-11, but they've beaten the Cavaliers 9 of the last 10. McGowan's making 1 of 2 to 14 points for him. And Childress trying to hustle it up. Nearly lost the handle on it. Kicks it for Brown and a 3, blocked by Champagny. And if that's the last thing he does in the game, well, that's a fitting end for him to a sensational ball game.
Swiss Army knife. Rebounds, defends, unrelenting in his approach. I mean, that motor is limitless. Mightily productive on the offensive side at all 3 levels, from beyond the arc, the mid-range, moving without the basketball, point-blank finishes. It's a resume tape game for the 6'6" freshman guard forward. I mean, look, he's become almost their number 1 option. I talk about the motor, not giving up on the play. Great players find their way to the basketball. They got a nose for it with those instincts. And at 6'6", he's their best offensive rebounder. But I love how he moves without the basketball to get baskets. There's mid-range, and there's that 3rd level. The 3-point stroke. Everybody's got to have it in the arsenal if you want to be sexy to the next level. And time again, we talked about how Musius gave in the first half, ran out of gas in the second. There was no stopping with jersey number 11 for the Panthers.
No.
He kept going, set the tone from start to finish all night like a set of porch lights.
30 points. And a slew of outstanding defensive plays. Wake trying to get it in. They do so to Sarr, who squares up and misses. Champagny with the rebound. Give him 6 of those, and another whistle with 20 seconds to play. And Pitt all smiles here in the game in Blacksburg, which went overtime, and the Hokies pulled that one out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't call these games, and that's what I would tell my man Booz, my man Dallin Cuff, and Luke Hancock, who want to sit out here and pick Wake Forest. And I would fade them in this next pick. I'm curious to see what the studio crew is going to have to say.
81-72. Childress way downtown, barely getting that one to the iron. 12.6 to go. Wake without a field goal in about the last 4 minutes, so that seriously cost them.
OB, how about 7 losses in a row for the Panthers? You think these guys are happy to get over the hump here in an elimination game like this and get back to winning?
And yet, they were favored to win the game.
Yeah, and how about this moment? Brandon Childress. You don't cheer. We're neutral on this side, but you cheer for that young man and what he's endured and how he silenced the critics and what a career he has had. We're celebrating.
Honorable mention all ACC, but his season ends today. The Pitt Panthers holding off Wake Forest 81-72.